Hi guys, so let's jump straight in on this little how-to metal flake video, and the main thing in this that we're going to be using is the Flake King 1000 dry metal flake spray gun, which I've recently got from PMP Supplies. Just have a bit of a play around with and sort of see the difference between a dry application and a wet application. So for the first stage, we've got this little skateboard here. We've already had this all primed up, it's all been blocked out. It's then re-primed and re-blocked because obviously with it being wood it tends to soak up quite a lot of the material, so you always want to prime stuff like that twice really to make sure it's well sealed up, or use something like a wood sealer on it first. Then we've put some Hulk green very high metallic pearl base coat over it, and then we're at the stage now where I'm just going to put a lot of flake down on this and then sort of give this little Flake 1000 a test. So as you will probably tell, the booth is actually covered in flake at the moment anyway, which is why I decided to shoot this video, because I have actually been doing a car and metal flake, so I thought it's an ideal time to shoot the video using this Flake King's gun, while obviously the booth floor was a bit messy anyway. So once you've got your base coat down on your part, what we're going to do is put down a nice wet coat of clear. This is going to give something for the metal flake to actually sit in and adhere to when we dust it over in a second. Now there's two ways to do metal flake. One is a more conventional way, which is to put it in like an intercoat clear or a clear base coat and mix it in with that and then spray it down, or you can use something like this, which is a dry flake gun. So I've literally got the flake there dry in the pot. It's really simple to use this actually. It's literally just screw your pot onto the bottom, connect your airline up. I found that a sort of a medium pressure was nice, because if you put it at too much of a high pressure it'll shoot the flake quite far, and obviously you don't really want the stuff firing everywhere. You want to try and keep it, you know, in the area that you're actually aiming it at. And then on the actual front of the gun, you just see me there's a little adjustment valve. Now that will adjust the agitation in the cup at the front and also adjust the suction for it actually pulling it up. And as you can see, it is really simple to use. Just one light pass with that and you've already got a really nice flake finish to that. The way that it disperses the flake out the nozzle, it's quite even as well, so you've not, I suppose as opposed to using it in a base coat blender through a spray gun, you've not got any chance of getting any banding or anything like that. Also, with it being dry, it makes cleanup a lot easier, because I found that when it's put through a clear binder, the only issue with that is obviously it's got paint attached to it, so anything that doesn't actually land on the part that you're trying to metal flake does tend to stick to your floor, and it really is a pain to clean up. Whereas this stuff, it's dry, so whatever lands on the floor you can literally just brush it up. I mean, we are pretty OCD with the booth anyway, we do brush it out quite often and then just run the hoover over it. I know that probably seems a bit mad, but it does help to keep that extra dust out. So we've just put a second coat of clear on, and I'm just now giving it a second dust over, because I want a real nice, not a full coverage, but I want a real heavy coverage on this, because in the future this is something that I am planning on doing a little bit of extra work on this skateboard, maybe doing a little bit of a video on using fine line tapes and maybe a little airbrush work, stuff like that. It's been a while since I've got the airbrushes out, and I am actually in the process of repainting my own motorbike at the moment, and I am shooting the filming on that, and I'm probably going to be grabbing an airbrush and getting a little bit of airbrush work done on that as well. So we'll try and get a few little custom painting videos up for you guys, as well as the normal standard painting videos. So at this stage I've got enough flake down on this, I'm quite happy with it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to finish it off with a couple of coats of clear coat, just to try and seal that flake in a little bit. Now you don't want to go majorly overcoating it at this stage. We just want to get enough on to try and, I'd say around about 80%, try and bury that flake in there, because as much as like in some videos they might not show this, once you have flaked something you do need then to sand that back and then give it a flow coat to give you that ultimate final finish. So at this stage we have cut to around about 4 or 5 days later. I didn't bake this, I've left it out to cure, and I'm going to use a P600 now on the DA. And what we basically want to do now is knock all this rough finish back, because I know it doesn't probably show too well in the video, but obviously the flake's quite large, so it's like a really gritty, grainy finish on the clear coat at this stage. And obviously, you know, as painters, we really don't want that. We want that really nice glassy finish, especially on something custom like this or something one-off. You know, that's going to be a showpiece. Or maybe, if you guys are interested, maybe we'll do a little bit giveaway for you guys, and you guys can, when we finish the skateboard up, one of you guys can get the chance to win the skateboard if you're interested. Leave a comment in the boxes below, and we'll have a bit of a chat about that. So as you can see, you know, all that middle section there is matted out, and that's how we want it. But there's areas where there obviously is orange peel. There's this bit of pinhole in here and there that sometimes happens with metal flake. So all we want to do is back this off. Now you want to be sure that you don't go too far, because obviously we don't want to be going sanding through the actual metal flake or through that clear coat. We just want to try and get this now so it's got a nice flat finish. So especially if you're going as harsh as I am here with the P600, just take your time as you're going along, because if you cut through this or anything, then you have to start the whole process again, and it's going to take you quite some time. Now the reason that I left this for a couple of days is because obviously by the time you finish this process, you've got quite a few coats of clear on there. So I literally, it's the height of the summer at the moment here in the UK, so most of the days this week it's been like 27 degrees. So to leave this out for like 5-6 days in bright direct sunlight in 27-degree heat was not a problem at all. This thing will be well cured through by this stage, which then leaves it good for putting this, you know, giving this a good sand down and then doing this flow coat. So all I'm doing here is just going around again with a disc, just going around the edges, making sure all those edges and all the peels out the edges, and just tickling up where any of them little pinhole bits where the metal flake, it does sometimes leave pinhole in, unfortunately. It's just one of them things, but obviously with flow coating it, it's not going to be an issue. So we're just going to go around and tickle all them little bits up, and then I'm going to go around and just scotch all the edge of this board up so we've got a nice adhesion around the edge of it as well. So as far as the dry flake gun goes, it's not something that I've ever used before. This is the first time that I've used it, and a big thanks to PMP Supplies for actually sending it out to me to have a play with and have a test and actually get the chance to do a video on it for you guys. Now in the past, by no means do I think I'm an expert at metal flake or anything like that. I've done it quite a few times in the past. It's quite, I wouldn't say it's a complicated process. As long as you follow the simple steps, it is quite a simple process to do. But I have actually found that as far as doing it goes, I have actually found that personally, I'd say the dry metal flake gun was a lot easier. It was a lot better for cleanup, and there's a lot less chance of getting any contamination or anything anywhere as well. As one of the biggest issues that I found when you're doing metal flake is obviously, if you're doing it through the wet application method, you are going to be putting it through one of your spray guns. So for me, the last thing I want to be doing is putting it through one of my spray guns. The chances are, you know, I mean, you can clean your gun out immaculately, but you know, you've got your gun wash, everything. I mean, there's so much chance of just one little speck of that staying in that gun, or staying in your gun wash, or you know, dropping off on a cloth or anything, and it's staying inside the gun, and then you're going to go and clear, say, a white car up or something like that, and then I'm going to get a massive chunk of green metal flake in that job, and I am not going to be a happy bunny if that happens. So I do have to actually say that it was really easy to change as well. I'd been using this with purpling during the week without any issues whatsoever. I literally took it outside, got the airline, and then airlined it straight out, and it blew all the metal flake out. Obviously being dry, it was straight out of there. I just used the high pressure on the airline to blow it all out, and then put the green in without any issues. Clean up was really easy. So for the flow coat stage, we are using the Roberlo Chronox 610 UHS clear coat. First coat, I'm just giving it a nice light dust over. With this being a flow coat, I don't want to risk any sort of like silica marks or any marks coming up in this, so I'll just give it a really literally a dust coat, as you can see there, just to help seal that. I'm just giving it a few seconds to flash and tack before then we go really, you know, flowing this up. And I'm actually using the new Segola 3300 GTO. I will be having a review up of this at some point in the near future. I'm not quite sure when it'll be yet, but it will be at some point in the near future for you guys. So on the note of the actual metal flake spray gun, if anyone's interested in that, it has come from our sponsors at PMP Supplies. I will leave a link in the description below, and also at the moment they have actually got £50 off on that spray gun, and the black model is a limited edition model that only they have as well. So if you want to pick yourself one up for doing little bits and pieces, or even if you've got a slightly bigger job, then you know, head over to their website, give them guys a check out, and show them a little bit of love for being our sponsor. Just there, I was just pointing out there are one or two little dust nibs in the top of that. Unfortunately, I am getting to the point where I need to change the roof filters and the booth. It is just causing one or two little dust nibs more than I'd like at the moment. But at the time you guys are actually watching this video, as it first goes live, I'm actually away for the weekend, and we've got some people in actually tiling the booth floor out. And once the booth floor has been tiled out, we are actually planning on changing them roof filters, which should cut down a little bit of that. And I just want to say a little bit of a shout out to one of my Instagram followers, Royce. I was chatting to him earlier on today. We had a bit of a chat actually for a couple of hours. Really nice guy, and I did promise him that I would give him a shout out on the next video. So there you go guys, that is the finished product, and as you can see, that dry flake gun does an absolute outstanding job. I'm really happy with it, and as I said, if you want to check one out, then head over to our sponsors at PMP Supplies. That's it for me for today guys, and I'll see you again soon for the next video. Thanks for watching.